Hi, I'm Tammy Davis. Thank you for joining me. Today I have an interesting topic. I don't know how many people even think of this, but it is something that's been on my mind for the last few days, and so I thought I would actually bring it up and just see kind of how it goes. Ordinarily, we have a lot of other things, other issues that we're looking at, such as hormones and histamine and certain health conditions, but the one thing we don't typically talk about is appetite. We equal appetite to lack of control. And what I wanted to kind of go into here is based on our understanding currently of appetite, as well as how it relates to the type of work that I do and the way I look at health. Appetite is not the same thing as hunger. We do know that. Hunger is, I'll start there, is when the body is actually letting you know it needs food, and we typically feel that in the stomach. It's a physical sensation, whereas appetite is more of a mental sensation, whereas we feel like we can eat something, or we feel like we can't, we're done, or we're not really in the mood to eat. These are, it's a mental aspect of our hunger and need to eat. So what actually regulates appetite? Like I said, it's an interesting topic because to me, there's a little bit of a stigma around appetite, because I've heard so many people say, well, I can't control myself. And I really am going to try to explain this as briefly as possible, and if it goes too long, please forgive me. But appetite is actually regulated by the hormonal system. It's an endocrine function. And when we are satisfied with our meal and we've eaten and we feel satisfied, we can safely and comfortably push back from the table and go, I'm done, and just kind of put our napkin on the table and walk away. Other times we eat something and we just don't feel satisfied. And I know this runs into a lot of problems with people who are living with eating disorders. And even if you're not necessarily diagnosed with an eating disorder, but we have that need to eat. And I know there's a lot of people that have a tendency to snack, feel like they've lost their sense of will. They have no control. We talk about willpower, and I mean, I've talked to so many people that end up telling me, well, I just don't have the willpower. And this is the reason why I even mentioned initially as a stigma, because when we feel that loss of control, it's embarrassing. That's how I want to say that. It's actually embarrassing. So we frequently do not talk to people about this. It's the same, and we see the same thing with alcohol, drugs, cigarettes. I mean, we feel that sense of lack of control. We have no willpower over this. This isn't you being a bad person. This isn't the bad things about the food, so to speak, but it has more to do with the hormonal system. And there's an imbalance clearly when we don't feel that feeling of satisfaction. Then that's on an ongoing basis. And every time we eat, or frequently when we eat and we just don't feel satisfied and we could just eat forever, it says that something's not being triggered and that particular hormone isn't being released to let you know that you can stop. Now, again, like I said, I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible, but at the same time, my head is racing because there's a lot to this. When we talk about the neuroendocrine system and the body's ability to regulate our satisfaction, my guess is that you can probably look at the rest of your system and identify other areas of imbalance with the hormonal system. Could be thyroid, could be estrogen. You might be having issues with your cycle. You could be having high blood pressure problems. and the list goes on. So if there's an imbalance in one area of your system, there's an imbalance throughout the entire area. And this would be the reason why we tend to gain weight when we have estrogen issues. Again, we're talking hormonal. This is the reason why, slow thyroid, you tend to put on weight. We have this aspect of not feeling satisfied. Now, we can take medications and not feel satisfied. Well, that would be because the medication is affecting that particular area of the hormonal system, which eventually is going to throw the entire system out of balance. This isn't to say that the medication is bad or wrong. It's just saying this is where the imbalances come in. And this is the reason why I am so adamant about beginning to really include essential oils, very specific essential oils, into your daily diet routine. Not that you would ingest it. I can go on about that one. We'll leave that for, we'll table that discussion for now. But the real truth of the matter is when you include essential oils into your day, your body actually begins to utilize the nutrients of your diet and your supplementation. You see, the oils don't contain nutrients, but they contain the information the cells need to pick up the correct nutrients. So that brings me to the next point. A lot of times, this lack of satisfaction, even though it is a hormonal regulated function, it is also indicative of digestive problems. And it's also indicative of, and I mean digestive problems, not just in the stomach and the gut, and it's also on a cellular level. Here again, we're back to the essential oils. So pairing your oils with very specific ideas for foods and nutrients will make a huge difference. And I'm not promising overnight success, not in the least, because if you're, depending on how old you are, the older you are, the longer your body has not been using nutrients properly. Therefore, you have to get things back into alignment, which is going to take some time. I don't want to discourage anyone because, trust me, if you do this and you do it correctly, you can not only nullify the symptoms, you can also begin to restore the balance to your system. So appetite has a few areas, like I said, like it's a mental factor, it's a mental feeling, and it stems into the feeling of satisfaction. So oftentimes, again, with stress and life spinning out of control because of financial aspects, relationship aspects, career, you name it. When we feel like we've lost a sense of control, we no longer feel satisfied in life. So there again, we come into a whole nother psychological aspect, emotional aspect to having an appetite. And so the first question you could even ask yourself is, where am I not feeling satisfied? Again, it could very well be on a nutrient base. It could be the rest of your life is fine, and your real dissatisfaction is on a cellular level because you're just not getting the nutrients. This has nothing to do with your lack of willpower. It has everything to do with your body not getting the nutrition it needs. And it doesn't have to go on. So I think I've come to the end for now. I may add on to this, but I welcome any questions or concerns that you may have about what I've just said. Because, again, I'll just kind of summarize everything. Appetite is not hunger. Hunger is an absolute feeling in the gut where we have to have something to eat. There's those hunger pangs. Whereas appetite is a feeling, a mental feeling, where hunger is physical. And this mental feeling will tell you whether or not you're feeling satisfied. So, there's a lot of space here to kind of play with and understand what's going on within the body. And the more you get your body into alignment, I want to say this much, besides the emotional factors that I've already mentioned, you don't have to do a lot of digging and soul searching to discover a sense of satisfaction. Because, and here's why, this isn't to take away from therapy or coaching or anything. When you get your digestive system and your neuroendocrine system back into alignment and you actually incorporate oils into your day, you can begin to regulate this neurochemistry in such a way that these feelings of satisfaction and upset and disappointment and frustration that we feel with life will actually begin to kind of not feel so bad. You'll have a better mental and emotional outlook as far as how to do things differently. You'll feel a more sense of peace. So I guess what I'm saying is I would really encourage the beginning with a very specific plan with pairing essential oils and nutrients coming from your food primarily, but you can include a couple of supplements to get you kick-started. And then from there, begin to explore other areas if you feel it's necessary, but at least help your body find balance and find its way home. There's no point in pointing fingers and saying that there's something wrong with you. Look, life is life. And living should be fun. I was visiting with an older woman last night at the grocery store, for probably maybe no more than 3 minutes. She's 77, 4 rounds of cancer, and when she walked away from me, her final words were, "Living is fun." And so that's really what this is about. It's about restoring fun, and it's not about the body shape. It's not about being happy, and I should say, trying to dig up dirt in your life. It's about really regulating the mental emotional state of being, which does come from our neurochemistry. And the more we can bring that into balance, the better we're going to begin to feel. And at that point, other things will make more sense and will feel more powerful. So I say empower the body so that you can do what you're here to do, and so that you can take different steps in your life. That's what this is all about. It's about empowering the body to utilize the nutrients so that your chemistry can regulate itself and you can get back to feeling good and enjoying what you have and feeling satisfied with all of it. So again, if you have any questions, please let me know. I look forward to hearing from you. My email address is tammy.davis8. That's all lowercase letters and the number 8 @gmail.com. I hope to hear from you. Thanks again, and we'll talk soon. Bye now.